Hello and welcome to AtH. In this video, I'll be recalling the story of Derpy Hooves. Yes, that character from My Little Pony. If you're new to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, you'll get to learn about who she is and why she is so popular. If you're already familiar, then you'll discover her origins and what makes her so special. First things first, Derpy Hooves is not an official character from the show, and yet she is one of the most popular characters from the show. How did that happen? It all begins with Friendship is Magic, Episode 1. Unlike the cartoons of my childhood, Friendship is Magic is made using Adobe Flash. While I will always prefer and adore traditional cartoons, this new technology has many benefits. It is Flash that enabled the people behind the show to add so many background ponies. Background pony is the term used to describe characters that appear in the background, that are simply there to make scenes appear more lively. The majority of background ponies do not have official names, and their colors, species, and cutie marks are chosen at random. Flash allows the artist to essentially copy and paste character bodies and animations and use them over and over, allowing scenes that feature a dozen background characters to be made relatively quickly and easily. But Flash can be fickle at times, and this has resulted in a slew of animation errors and mistakes in the show. Fans have compiled literally hours of footage detailing these errors and pointing them out for fun. There are many people involved with the creation of the show. There are the animators, whose job it is to animate the individual ponies, but there are also layout artists, who set the general look of a scene and place the various background ponies. In the first episode, when Twilight Sparkle is being given her welcoming party, it was the job of the layout artist to place the background ponies around the scene. This was only the first episode, so in fact the same ponies are often copy-pasted throughout the scene. You can see Lyra and Derpy here and here, for example. You actually see Derpy in the scene multiple times with her eyes just fine. But someone made the decision to change the layout of a particular scene at the last minute, where Twilight is drinking from her cup, and Derpy's final form was revealed. This simple mistake was only on screen for about 3 seconds, but it would eventually take over the fandom. Her face was originally obscured by another character, so the artist did not bother fixing her eyes and face when originally placing her. But when the layout was suddenly changed, her head was exposed. This error was noticed by the supervising director, but he found it to be funny, and Hasbro had already seen the episode and gave him a green light to release it, so he did not order the error to be fixed. Because of her crossed eyes, fans called this mysterious gray Pegasus Derpy. Fans took to Derpy immediately, and the supervising director was extremely happy at Derpy's popularity. So happy, in fact, that he ordered his artists to look through the episodes they were currently working on, the ones that had not already been finalized and submitted, and had them change any instances of Derpy to her beloved derped eyes. That is why Derpy can be seen with normal eyes for a few episodes after the first, but they become derped again. This became a sort of Where's Waldo game for the Friendship is Magic staff and the fans. The staff would hide her throughout the episodes, and the fans would try to find her. Derpy appeared in every single one of the first 16 episodes of Season 1, with the exception of Episode 9, and she appeared in more than half of the episodes in Season 2. The Derpy story would become a little bit more complex than that, however. In the episode Applebuck Season, Applejack and Pinkie Pie create some very unique muffins, and Pinkie Pie offers free samples to a crowd. Derpy is there, and she mouths the line, "Muffins," along with a few other background ponies in the scene. But because of Derpy's popularity, people attributed the voice to her, and so it became popular to associate muffins with Derpy. Popular is an understatement, by the way. Apart from her love of muffins, the most popular fan trait for Derpy is her role as mail mare. Derpy is in charge of delivering mail to Ponyville and Canterlot, and perhaps even other places. I can't say for certain how or when this began. The MLP fan wiki says that an early piece of Derpy fanfiction started the trend, but it does not link to the fanfic in question. What I can say for certain is that an artist known as AtH created an animation of Derpy poorly attempting to stuff letters into a mailbox in December 2010, so the trend began then at the latest. In the episode Winter Wrap-Up, Rainbow Dash makes mention of a character named Ditsy Doo.
Ditsy Doo accidentally went north to get the southern birds. Oh, that featherbrain! Didn't she learn her lesson last year when she went west?
People initially thought this was an attempt to give Derpy an official name, as Derpy is a Pegasus and Rainbow Dash was in charge of the Pegasi for the event. But Ditsy Doo is not Derpy, or at least not anymore. Ditsy Doo was to be a separate character, a lovable klutz that is so commonly found in cartoons. Derpy is acting as this intended Ditsy Doo when she drops items on Twilight's head in the episode Feeling Pinky Keen. Internally, Derpy was referred to as Ditsy by the show's producers and writers, but they saw how popular Derpy was with the fans and they decided to change Ditsy's name to Derpy. So Ditsy was never given an actual appearance, and she has not been mentioned since Winter Wrap-Up. Not to surprise the hay out of Doctor Who fans, but there is indeed a Doctor Who-inspired pony in Friendship is Magic. His official name is Time Turner, but he is better known by the fans as Dr. Hooves. He has been the focus of many fan works involving references to the Doctor Who universe, and because of Derpy's popularity and her similar status as a fandom pony, it became common for people to pair the two up as a team, with Derpy being the Doctor's companion. They are sometimes paired romantically, but usually they are simply trying to solve the universe's problems one error at a time. Perhaps one of the more interesting traits given to Derpy by the fandom is that she is a mother. She has a daughter named Dinky Hooves. Dinky is the fan name given to a unicorn filly seen in several episodes. She is a simple, nameless background pony, as she does not even have a consistent cutie mark. But because of the color of her eyes and mane, fans thought that she looked a lot like Derpy, and they began to incorporate Dinky into works with Derpy. Derpy is almost without exception portrayed as a loving, dedicated mother who refers to Dinky as her little muffin. Dinky can be portrayed as being similar to her mother, but I prefer to think of her as being smarter than average and looking out for Derpy as often as Derpy looks out for her. I enjoy that dynamic, kind of a Penny and Inspector Gadget thing. Thankfully, the question as to who could Dinky's father be is largely left alone. Most fans quickly realized that Derpy and Dinky were just so gosh darn cute together that it didn't matter, so the subject is rarely discussed. These halcyon days of playing hide-and-seek and drawing happy cute Derpy pictures continued all the way through to the middle of Season 2, where Derpy fans, meaning everybody, became giddy with excitement as Derpy received her first speaking role, featuring the voice of Tabitha St. Germain, the voice actress of Rarity. Derpy appeared alongside Rainbow Dash in the episode The Last Roundup, where she did her best to help Rainbow Dash with maintaining the town hall building.
Huh? Now, careful, Derpy! I don't want to do any more damage than you've already done. I just don't know what went wrong. Yeah, it's a mystery. Nice work, Rainbow Dash! You okay, Rainbow Dash? Anything I can do to help? No, nothing. In the name of Celestia, just sit there and do nothing. My bad.
This scene was a wonderful moment that showed a connection between the show's producers and the fans. Unfortunately, this scene would also spark an enormous controversy. A week after the episode was released, it was removed from iTunes, and later replaced with a version of the episode with the Derpy scene receiving many changes. In the original scene, Rainbow Dash calls Derpy by name, but her name was removed from the edited version, and Derpy's voice was changed. But the biggest edit had to do with her eyes. They were no longer derped. The producers had made this huge leap to show their connection with the fandom only a couple weeks prior, and they were suddenly taking that connection away. What was going on? The writer of the episode The Last Roundup was Amy Keating Rogers, a freelance writer. When she was writing the episode, the scene with Derpy and Rainbow Dash was much longer. It showed how the town hall building was damaged in the first place, with Derpy kicking a cloud and causing lightning to strike it. Derpy was also named Ditzy in the original script. Mrs. Rogers was asked to change the name to Derpy, and she did so because she had no reason not to. And she received a flood of fan mail after the show aired. She received hundreds of emails from ecstatic fans. Unfortunately, some of the mail she received was not so nice. She received some complaints that the name Derpy, her voice, and her crossed eyes were offensive to the disabled. Though she received very few of these complaints, each one broke her heart. She had absolutely no idea that the word derp was ever used to make fun of the handicapped or disabled. But this wasn't a simple matter of potentially insulting faraway strangers. Mrs. Rogers' own son, Soren, whom the Wonderbolt Soren is named after, is, in her own words, severely disabled. Mrs. Rogers is an advocate for the disabled, and so this issue became very personal for her. She couldn't stand the idea of her own story for a children's show being used to make fun of the disabled, even if that interpretation of the word derp is very uncommon. But even though she hated that possibility, she ultimately did not want to change the episode. She knew that she meant no offense, and after watching the scene, she did not find it offensive at all. But it was not up to her. Hasbro is a big corporation, and corporations are like living things. They want to survive above all else. Hasbro decided that it was in the best interest of the company and the My Little Pony brand to edit the episode and remove anything that could be potentially construed as offensive. As you can imagine, this upset a lot of people. Perhaps a little too much. Of course, Derpy fans were upset that their beloved character was essentially removed from the show, but more than that, they were upset that people complained about Derpy being offensive. For months following the episode edit, people argued constantly about Derpy. Was she offensive or not? Who sent the letters claiming to be offended? Was it wrong of Hasbro to remove Derpy because she was different? What could they do to get Derpy back on the show? This era of drama, known as Derpygate, has mostly since passed, but its repercussions can still be felt today because the story of Derpy Hooves continues. Though Derpy's name and eyes were edited out of the Last Roundup, Hasbro did not edit her out of the series. The rest of the episodes in Season 2 that featured Derpy in the background did not have her eyes changed, and she can still be seen with her derped eyes in the episode Hurricane Fluttershy, for example. She has unfortunately been left out of Season 3 so far, but that doesn't mean Derpy is gone. Derpy has been featured on official and officially licensed merchandise. There are t-shirts of Derpy, which can be purchased online or at places like Hot Topic. The most famous piece of Derpy merchandise is her oversized toy, which was sold exclusively at Comic-Con 2012, although some extras were sold online later. They sold out very, very quickly. So quickly, in fact, that by the time I loaded the page and grabbed my credit card, she was sold out. Note that Derpy is not named at all on this toy or in its promotional material. It's simply listed as a special edition pony. So what can we, the folks who love Derpy, do for her? Well, first off, I want to say that I did not make this video to drum up drama or to upset anyone. I made this video to inform the people new to Friendship is Magic. I did not start watching the show until after Season 2 had finished airing, so this was all pretty much over and done with by the time I learned about it, and I'm sure there will be plenty of people in that same situation. The best thing we can do for Derpy is to not be upset. We have to accept that there is a chance that she will remain off the show, but that is by no means a certainty. Derpy's likeness continues to be used on officially licensed products, such as the official comic books and game apps. Perhaps someday, when Hasbro feels they can handle it in a way that will allow them to bring her back to the show, they will. What we can do to help is to simply show our support for Derpy in the most positive light. Continue to draw her, smile when we see her, and show Hasbro that she is a positive influence on the fandom and for children. Indeed, while Mrs. Rogers and Hasbro received several letters complaining about Derpy being offensive, they received hundreds of messages saying the exact opposite, many of which were from people who had or were taking care of others who had disabilities. Hasbro already knows that 99.9% of the people out there who know about Derpy absolutely adore her. It would never dream of using her to make fun of other people, so we don't need to convince Hasbro of that. If Derpy does get to come back to the show, we fans need to be ready that she may be a little different. She may have her name changed or her eyes may be different. But whether she is brought back or not, as long as the show continues, Derpy will be in the heart and mind of the fandom, because the most important thing Derpy has taught us is that sometimes an error, a mistake, an imperfection can actually make something better.
What is that little